It was reported from Washington today that the administration has decided to give its approval for construction of a nuclear plant at Seabrook, New Hampshire. Not long ago, 1,400 people were arrested there for demonstrating against construction on the grounds that the plant would hurt the environment. And finally this evening, if you don't know what a 100-year-old Wookiee is, he or it is seen here on the left, chances are you're going to find out. Douglas Kiker reports.
Star Wars. It is more than just a successful movie, it is a box office phenomenon. The film is breaking attendance records all over the country. Not since Jaws have so many people stood in line to see a movie. Alan Ladd Jr., an executive at 20th Century Fox, whose film it is, talked about the reasons for its appeal.
I think it's just good and evil. The simplicity of the whole story is what really makes it work. It's a fantasy, and I think we all grew up in a fantasy world, and I think that it works on that level.
Star Wars cost $9 million to produce. It will bring in at least 10 times that amount. As a result, the price of 20th Century Fox stock has doubled in the last 2 weeks. There are no sex scenes in Star Wars. Unlike Jaws, it doesn't frighten people. It's just an old-fashioned cowboy movie set in space with mind-boggling special effects. In the classic westerns, it's the good guys versus the bad guys, sometimes a pair of good guys, one experienced and a little cynical, the other a tenderfoot, a kid.
I got him! Great kid! Don't get cocky!
In Star Wars, their names are Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. The bad guys always are a rough, tough, sinister-looking bunch. And never more so than in Star Wars. The damsel in distress. That's Princess Leia, who is held captive by the bad guys. Sometimes the good guys have a sidekick who provides the comic relief.
Come on.
In Star Wars, the sidekicks are two robots. And Chewbacca, who somehow knows how to pilot a spaceship. The climax of every good cowboy movie is the final showdown between the good guys and the bad guys. The only difference in Star Wars is that the characters ride spaceships instead of horses.
I'll be right there.
A cowboy movie set in space. That's Star Wars. It's old-fashioned, escapist entertainment, pure and simple, with no moral, no message. And it appears this is what just about everybody in the country is in the mood for. Douglas Kiker, NBC News, Washington.
That's it for this evening. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, good night for NBC News.
The sequel to Star Wars is here. It's called The Empire Strikes Back, and George Lewis has the story.
This wasn't your usual Hollywood premiere. First of all, it was in Washington, not Hollywood, and there were no searchlights, no long lines of Rolls-Royces disgorging celebrities left and right. This premiere, a benefit, was for children, retarded children and their families, people who participate in the Special Olympics program. The actors featured in The Empire Strikes Back were also there, posing for pictures and signing autographs. But as any Star Wars addict knows, it's not the actors, it's the special effects that steal the show. And a lot of people have been wondering whether the producers could top the technical razzle-dazzle of the original Star Wars. They have. The movie is filled from beginning to end with elaborate special effects such as this battle between the good guys and the bad guys, armed with huge walking tanks.
Go now. All right, coming in.
And in the final moments of the movie, a lightsaber duel between #1 bad guy Darth Vader and #1 good guy Luke Skywalker. movie is pure escapism, no big social message. But these days, with the way the world is, there's a lot to escape from. So it's a good bet that many Americans this spring will be going to that galaxy long ago and far, far away. George Lewis, NBC News at the Kennedy Center in Washington.
And that's our report tonight. Jessica Savage will be here tomorrow night. I'm Jane Pauley, back Monday morning on Today. Until then, good night.
A new movie, the third in the Star Wars series, opens on Wednesday. And when it opens in Hollywood, some will have been waiting in line for more than a week. And it is clear the audience will not be your ordinary mom and pop and the kids, as ABC's Judd Rose reports from Hollywood.
6 years ago, Star Wars hit the screen, proving a box office bombshell. The original earned $524 million. The sequel, The Empire Strikes Back, soared almost as high, about $365 million at last count. Now comes the third in the series, The Return of the Jedi, and it's expected to earn as much or more than either of its predecessors. In fact, it won't open for 2 more days, but already the lines are down the block.
You meet a lot of weird people out here?
Oh, none weirder than us.
These are the 50-odd, emphasis on odd, men and women who've camped outside a Hollywood theater, some for the past 6 days and nights, to be first in line for Jedi.
I am wondering, why are you here?
I know why I'm supposed to be here.
Why?
Because I got nowhere else to go.
Jedi will be opening in more than 950 theaters nationwide. This one happens to be on Hollywood Boulevard, an unsavory part of Los Angeles, where it's not surprising to see strangely dressed people sleeping on the sidewalk. But even in this high-crime area, the fans of Jedi have triumphed over the forces of darkness.
Most people you consider bad are on our side. It's like the Force is with us.
The Force is with them occasionally, the police force that is, but for the most part they've gone unmolested, at least for the most part.
You comunista! Yes, no!
This morning, the Jedi faithful dedicated a makeshift star in honor of Star Wars creator George Lucas. That's one way of passing the time until the first show, which isn't till Wednesday morning. But already, those at the front of the line are making plans.
It's going to be nice and dark and warm in there, so we're going to probably go straight to sleep.
Judd Rose, ABC News, Hollywood.
It's finally here. The Return of the Jedi, Part 3 of the Star Wars film phenomenon, which will open nationally tomorrow. And as Mike Jensen reports tonight, hundreds of companies are involved in the Jedi film. For them, the phrase, "May the Force be with you," means let the money roll in.
Actor Mark Hamill arriving for a preview showing of Return of the Jedi. Actress Carrie Fisher. Inside, an assault on the senses by this third in the Star Wars trilogy, the most expensive yet. $8 million worth of special effects alone. Carrie Fisher playing Princess Leia. Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker, discovering the truth about Darth Vader.
He's my father.
A high-speed chase through the Redwoods. The Star Wars series has been the most profitable in the history of movie making. The first 2 in the series, Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, have grossed about $900 million from ticket sales. But that's only the beginning. Merchandise tie-ins have brought an additional $2 billion in retail sales. And this third movie in the series, Return of the Jedi, is bringing with it the biggest merchandise and promotional blitz ever to come out of Hollywood. Kenner Products is introducing 17 new Jedi figures, 3 new spacecraft. It's spending $12 million to promote them. Lucasfilm, which produced Return of the Jedi, gets a royalty for every product tie-in. For records, cookies, books, video games, clothing, bubble bath, toothbrushes, portraits of Jabba the Hutt and the Ewoks, even a Darth Vader speakerphone.
Hello?
I'm calling about Return of the Jedi.
Burger King expects to sell 16 million Jedi glasses for 49 cents each and increase its sales by 7 to 10%.
Right now we have over $8 million in our Return of the Jedi glasses in our warehouses, and we're spending about $7 million on the airwaves to promote the program.
And all over the country, Star Wars fans have been waiting in line for tickets to tomorrow's opening of Return of the Jedi, to be followed by an avalanche of new merchandise to feed their heroic fantasies. Mike Jensen, NBC News, New York.
Oh, too bad to be carried. I couldn't possibly, Joe.
That's Nightly News for this Tuesday night. I'm Tom Brokaw in New York.
I'm Roger Mudd in Washington. Good night from all of us at NBC News.